guys, my name is Rori, and you are listening to Rori's Room, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything life throws at us. Welcome to Season 3, More Than Just a Job. I am sitting down with creatives and professionals who are chasing and shaping the work that they have always wanted to do. This season is all about sharing different perspectives from different fields and revealing just how those paths might have changed them along the way. This week we are wrapping up our conversation with indie filmmaker and assistant director Aminee Hoff. If you haven't listened to part 1 of Aminee's episode, I recommend you do so prior to this segment. That being said, let's enter Rori's room. The first thing that I can get behind is making movies with your friends for fun. And I know for a fact that you can get behind this because obviously that's what you do.
Yes, but I won't steal yours. But I definitely can get behind that.
I feel like, especially with a lot of creators who started making movies, a lot of the times they started with their friends. And I think, honestly, it's peak filmmaking. Because
I agree.
I think a lot of people start out like that, and then it's too often left in the dust because, like, obviously we get careers and we need to make money, and I don't know, there's just something so beautiful about, like, gathering a bunch of different people from a bunch of different areas and interests and coming together to build something like a short film or a skit. And I also just think it brings a certain genuinity that nothing else can.
I agree, absolutely. I mean, it's so nice to get the chance to have a support system in such like a open creative space where you get to try new things and like get to bounce ideas off of each other. That's the problem with like big Hollywood and things, is that it is a lot of money making or money grabbing, and they're doing like a lot of prequels and sequels, which are great, but it's so much, I really enjoy when people take a risk and people are able to do that in a safe environment that feels like supporting of the creatives, which it really feels like when you make movies with your friends and you just get to try new things, and it's not like for any particular reason other than just to try it.
That actually brings me right into my thing I can't get behind, because that is only taking opportunities for money. And I get it to a certain extent, of course, because we are in a civilization that values money over pretty much anything, and you need money to live. So it's a difficult and touchy topic because obviously we need to make a living. We need to prioritize that because we need to represent our family, represent ourselves, and we need the money to pursue our other creative hobbies. So it's kind of touch and go, like basically how in order to get a job you need to have experience, but in order to get experience you need to have a job.
Right.
It's all just like a funky system like that.
It's so like circular, and it's like you never feel like you're gonna like get into that circle, and once you're in it you can't get out.
Exactly. It makes me so sad though, going from making movies with friends in high school to I don't know if you've had the same experience, but being at a non-creative filmmaking prioritizing school.
Yeah.
I had to go from like making movies with friends in high school as like a weekly thing to having to like beg people to be in short films.
Yeah.
Like, UW Whitewater is great and it's given me a lot of experience, but it is major journalism. Like that's the emphasis of it. So I honestly don't know very many people who are in the creative filmmaking area of things here. So it's like kind of having to bend the curriculum to fit stuff, and then like I shouldn't have to beg you to want to be in this. Like it's
all right. It's something that we can do together. Like let's do something besides like make money. Like let's be creative and make art that we can appreciate together. But I totally get that. I definitely am not making movies for the money.
Yeah, I understand like being busy and stuff, or even if it's just not up your alley, but like at least trying it one time. That's never hurt anybody. And
right.
At the same time, though, if you're doing something purely for the money and not doing something because you're passionate about it, you're missing the plot of life. Like you're
missing the plot of life.
Agenda.
That's such a good quote. I'm going to use that.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a really good point, though, because sometimes it really does feel like that's the only like reason to be doing anything. is just to explore life in the different like avenues that it offers you. Either make or just see different art and perspectives. That's what I really like about just like being in this field, is that you get to try so many different things and meet so many different people and make so many different stories. And I love being a part of that work, that I get to create something like that for other people.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy being in this area of things. I took 2 gap years off school and I worked in retail. So having taken that break too really drives me actually liking my work, because sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, this episode is taking me forever. I just want to be done. And then I remember working like 16-hour shifts behind the customer service counter.
Yeah.
I'll take being here.
Like, would I rather be working customer service, or would I rather be working a 16-hour film shoot with my friends? So I have this sweatshirt that I got, and it says "Woman in Film."
Love.
I love to wear this on sets because I can get behind women in film. I have tried to gather more women filmmaking friends, because there's obviously not enough women that get to shine in the spotlight, especially in Hollywood. And if Hollywood's not going to give me the chance, I might as well make my own. So I like this sweatshirt. I love women in film. We need more of them. I'm trying to do like a film set right now that involves like particularly like only women. Like, it's a woman-focused story, woman-focused crew. I just want to give women like a safe space to create the art that they've been kind of pushed out of for so long.
No, I completely agree. I remember when I first started at the TV station here, there was like 3 women and the rest were guys, and it's intimidating. And you often think about like women in male dominated careers like engineering or like science fields, and it's like,
yeah,
a lot of people don't actually know that pretty much every single degree is like male dominated. Like, a lot of them are, and I never expected film to be, but it's very encouraging to see all these women in film being so passionate about what they do.
I also studied women and gender studies in college. That's one of my minors. And after studying these things, you realize that everything was male focused. Everything has been studied and made for the centration of man. And you don't really realize like how far deep that goes until you start to like really get into it. This is very recent, is that women and children have been excluded from like studies involved in like car crashes. So everything that's been studied about how to keep drivers safe in cars have been focused around man. And that's just kind of how history has been forever. And that's no different, unfortunately, with film. And we're just starting to get to the point where women are more able to express themselves in film, but they're still being criticized for it. Like, I watched,
big time.
Have you seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You? It was one of the Oscar nominated films.
I don't think so.
It was an A24 movie. It was very interesting. It was A24, but it's focused around like this woman. She's a mother, and she just is dealing with all like life things of being a mom, being a woman, and also trying to be like an independent person. And I thought that really well showed the struggles that women have to go through of like just trying to like be treated as an individual. But then there. It was the whole thing.
You can go down this rabbit hole too, like it never stops. And
yeah,
at even the shallow part of the rabbit hole is just like not equal pay. Like,
yes,
you can think like you can be getting paid the same amount and still be getting paid less money somehow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. You really have to fight for it. Yeah. And even then you'll be labeled as difficult.
Oh, don't even get me started. I am very proud to be difficult. I have no problem telling people when they are in the wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I've had so many circumstances where I'm just voicing my mind, like something that needs to be said, but we're in the wrong because we're being dramatic, or like it's not
like we're setting boundaries.
It's that deep. Yes, exactly.
It is. It really is that deep. Period. It's awful. So can't get behind misogyny in film. That's what I can't get behind.
Oh my god. Yes. No, I completely agree. I think that's something that's not talked about enough, and I'm really glad that you're shedding light on that, because it really is that deep. It really is.
It really is. If we don't get the chance to learn and play as women in film, then we'll never get the chance to go farther and have that representation for women in film in the industry. It's still very male dominated, and we can only start at the level that we are.
if you had to pick a few skills that you believe are absolutely essential to succeed as an assistant director, what would those be?
I would say time management, organization, and patience. God, where do we even begin? If you can't time manage, then you can't be an assistant director. That's like the whole point, is that you're keeping track of time. You're keeping track of everything. And so you have to be organized. You have to figure out like the most efficient schedule and how it's going to work so that you can create this movie. It's kind of, not that it's relying on you, but everyone else is working really hard to make the creatives of this work. And your job is to make sure that they have enough time and they have the resources. So just keeping everything very clear and set on a path and a timeline, and also being patient with them, knowing that we're all trying our best, that things are going to take time, that things are going to happen, and there's going to be setbacks. And that's going to be okay, because that's a human experience. Some people get really frustrated. I'm guilty of that sometimes, that it's frustrating when there are setbacks and things happen that you don't expect, but it's going to happen. And it's your job to figure it out. You just got to roll with the punches and keep it moving.
Very well said. I absolutely agree. I think it's very important to, not even just as the assistant director, being in a film set or a film production, the process can be very tedious, so you need to be patient.
Yeah.
And I have not always been a patient person. Working in this field has definitely helped me become more patient, because if you're not patient, things can fall apart very quickly.
Right. As soon as you drop the ball on that, like, it's so easy for things to go haywire. It will. It's something that we say, at least in my experience in the film world, is that if something can go wrong, it will. And you always have to take that into account, that something will go wrong, and you just have to be ready for it to go wrong and have a backup plan for it.
Yes, that's another reason, like, we don't always have the best equipment to check out. Students at like the university, like, it's not always the best equipment. So often, if I can, I always check out like double the equipment just in case something goes wrong. Or if I can't do that, I will show up 30 minutes early just to like test all the equipment.
Yeah.
But like, the funniest thing is that even if you do that, a lot of the times you'll show up on set and then something will go wrong, even though you spent like that much long testing everything, make sure it goes right. Something will go wrong.
Every time.
Yes, every time. So even if you test it, you have to have a plan A, B, C, and maybe D. Like, you always need to have something for that.
Yeah, even when I'm on set and I have like everything planned out, something will go wrong. And like, I'll be sitting there on set and it might look like I'm not doing anything, but really I'm writing like a whole new schedule, like second schedule, third schedule, just in case the second schedule goes wrong, in case this goes, in case this falls apart. This is how we're going to have to move forward. And you just have to be ready for it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Recently had to film this scene. It was just for like another promo, because I'm in corporate media right now. So I had this excellent idea. I had this frame that I wanted to get, basically as a paper blows across the sidewalk and then it like pans up to the person. It was sunny all week. I was actually going for a gloomy-esque version of it. So I was worried it was going to be too sunny. The day we chose, the day everyone was available, windiest day of the entire year. Of course, this scene I had gotten was, I had a leaf blower I borrowed from the person I work for. So the plan was to be on a longboard as someone pushed me, and I was following the paper, and someone blowing the paper with the leaf blower, all, of course, off screen. Thankfully, I set up a camera just to get behind the scenes stuff, because it was just, I knew something was going to go wrong. And I love having behind the scenes camera, just
it's
like,
the best. It's so fun.
But it was, I ended up having to scrap the entire scene. I had a feeling that was going to happen after showing up on set, because you could try to blow the paper and either it would go off super far, because one, the leaf blower is strong. You can touch it barely. But like at the same time, the wind was absolutely insane, so it would blow the paper everywhere. And I ended up just scrapping the scene. But it's like, it's very important to have a variety of different plans, because if you depend solely on one thing, instead of losing one scene and simply having to replace it with one other thing, it can ruin your entire production.
Absolutely.
Like, if your entire production builds off of one scene and you cannot get that one scene, it's over. You're gonna have to start from the ground up again. So it's
exactly, if you film half of a scene at a location, and then all of a sudden, like, you're forced out. There's a fire alarm, everyone has to leave, we can't shoot the rest of the day, we don't have that location again, it's all done. It's just, oh my gosh, things will go wrong everywhere, and you just have to have backup plans, and it's gonna happen, and that's okay. You just have to be ready and willing to keep going.
That's like another reason why it takes so long, is because even if you're shooting outside, you could honestly get away with, as long as it's a similar location like a park that has like trees in the background, you could get away from filming on another location and playing it off the same location. One of the struggles with working outside, though, is the weather, and you have to depend on that. And often, that is unpredictable. Even the smallest bit of sun difference can absolutely change all of your lighting.
Absolutely.
So it's extremely time-consuming and difficult. So it's like...
And it's hard being an independent filmmaker, because in Hollywood, they have the sets and the studios that they have all the time. That's great. I wish I did. But these things, the great thing about being an independent filmmaker to start is that you will get to learn all of those hard skills first, and you get to be so creative, like you being on like your like skateboard or whatever, instead of like using a dolly. Yeah. you get to be creative and do these things that you wouldn't get to do otherwise, and learn different ways to do it cheaper and faster. Maybe less effectively, but still fun.
Yeah, I think being that independent filmmaker too, it is a lot of work, especially having to do it all on your own.
Yeah.
One thing that I have found is that going from, you're still an independent filmmaker, but going from like an independent, you're the only person doing pretty much everything, and then going to work with a team, it makes you appreciate the team that you're working with more.
Yes.
Because you don't have to do all of it by yourself. And also, if you're so used to doing it all by yourself, there's no way you belittle yourself for doing one of the 5 roles.
Right.
So it's like, you go into a site and you're like, oh, I can do this. This is easy.
I've done this before.
56 hours a week. It's like, it's so much easier compared to having to do all 5 jobs at once.
I know. I'm like, I would never work a 9 to 5. That's so silly. Like, I'm just going to work the 16-hour, like, everyday job on film sets where I have to do more work than that. That sounds great. But time and time again, that's what I'll choose.
I hear that a lot from like business owners or like independent freelancers. One of the people that we talked to, I think she's actually going to be talked about after your episode. Her episode's going to come in August. Her name is Nona. She talked about how she went from a traditional 9 to 5 job where she hated her job. And she's like, okay, I work 40 hours a week, but I would much rather be working all the time.
Yeah.
Doing my own stuff, because it's like, you hear the phrase, you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. It's very true. However, it may feel like you're working at some point. It's like, it is a lot of work.
It definitely does feel like that. There's things I would rather not do, but it's all a part of the lifestyle.
Yeah. How did working on projects like the 48-hour film challenges accelerate your growth?
Oh, yeah. Well, we kind of touched on this a little bit, where there's a lot of things that you have to learn really quickly. 48-hour films, like, you can't really second guess yourself. You have to really trust in yourself and your team members that you're gonna do this, and it's gonna get done. There's times where it's like, this is exhausting, and there's no way that this is gonna happen. And yet it does. And I think that working in the 48 hours, it does accelerate your learning. It gives you a chance to learn everything really quickly. And thankfully, I was also working with a really talented team that made it a lot easier to learn all these things. But I still love 48 hours for that reason, where it is so much work, but it really does challenge you. And those kinds of challenges allow you to grow quickly and the most that you can, more than you thought that you could. You do more than you really thought was humanly possible. So it really does push you to your limits. And I think that has helped me be a better filmmaker in real life, like outside of the festivals, where I've done this before. I have much more time than I had last time. This is easy. I can do this. If I can find a location in 48 hours, if I can change the script in 24 and still get it done, like, I'll be fine. And that's the true case, is that it helps you realize that I can do hard things, and and I am able to learn and figure it out as it goes. And it is going to work out, and you're going to have fun, and you should be proud of the work that you're doing. People should really give themselves more credit for the work that they're doing. It's hard work, and I really do love the 48s for that reason, that I've been able to push myself and grow just within that weekend.
We have something similar here, not for the video production departments, but it's for the media arts and game development.
Oh, good.
They're called game jams, and they come together for, I think it's like 48 hours exactly. Mm-hmm. And they make a themed game, which the theme is released when you get there. So you don't
yes.
you can't really
Yes, okay. That's exactly it, yeah.
But yeah, they basically like come together and build a huge game and then play it together at the end. And I've always wanted something like that for our area of things, which I should have transferred.
You should have.
I would have killed. I still would kill to have a 48-hour filmmaking challenge at Whitewater, because I think it's just such an excellent opportunity for people to come together, no matter if they're involved in classes or not. Like, you can come together and put your effort towards this and build something at the end. And not only is it fun and helps you build your skills, but also builds your portfolio.
Yes.
Extremely important in this industry.
Absolutely. A lot of the 48s that I've done have gotten us really far. We've been nominated for awards. We've won awards. One that we did, I think it was 2022 or 2023, got us to the 2024 Cannes Film Festival. So that, gave me a wonderful opportunity to travel and see other films made by independent filmmakers all over the world. So there's that, but then there's also that the Stevens Point Studios, we made our own like little 48-hour competition so that other students who maybe are a little intimidated by a big festival like that can still try their luck at that and learn those creative ways and realize that it's not that scary and that it's doable. So I really wish you got to participate in one of those. It's not too late.
Yeah, I maybe I'll like do something in the future. However, I am doing my capstone next semester, so
it's a lot right now.
When I move to Minnesota, we will work.
We'll talk about it. We'll get you on set.
Yeah, I genuinely think that there's so many opportunities. I honestly think about this a lot, where if I'm here longer for like a master's program, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But like I have so many different ideas that I'd want to incorporate now, being a senior who has been here for 4 years already, that I would have killed for as a freshman or as an underclassman. And it really reminds me that there's just not enough time, 4 years does seem like a lot. Like coming into college, it can be scary. It's a huge commitment. But at the same time, like time goes by so fast. I genuinely don't remember like 4 years passing.
Right.
Such a crazy concept.
It goes so fast.
Yeah.
There's not enough time.
No. Were you one of those people who approached their graduation with like a 5-year plan, or did you kind of find yourself figuring it out on the way?
Oh gosh, I did not know what I was going to do. I had no idea. I really didn't. I still don't. But I think that's...
You and me both.
Yeah, right. I think that's the beauty of it, is that there's so much to life, and there's so much that it can offer you, and you might not really know it until it gets to that point. So every day I just look for the opportunities and try to take whatever comes my way. I don't want to limit myself. Having a plan or an outline is great, but I really like to see where things take me. There's only so much that I can predict, and there's so much more that the world has to offer than I might know. So graduating, I knew that I was gonna be somewhere eventually. I don't even know at what point I knew I was moving to Minnesota. It all just kind of came together. And I don't think I would want it any other way. I really do like just seeing what happens and following through with those opportunities.
You moved with your friends, right?
I did. Yeah, I moved with 2 of my friends that I had already been living with for the last year before that. And I still live with them now.
How did and how does having friends and your support system in Minnesota influence your ability to continue making films in this new environment?
It helped a lot. My roommates aren't people who were involved in film at all, but they were able to like watch my cat while I was gone on set all day, which it's a very small and silly thing that people probably don't realize was helpful, but I mean, just having that kind of help and support still does change a lot. And then as I started to have, I mean, it gave me the opportunity to want to be an individual beyond just the apartment. So I went out looking for sets to be a part of and more people to work with. And I think that's why I had wanted to move to Minnesota, was that I didn't want to get too comfortable in one place. I had a bunch of really great friends and filmmaking friends in Wisconsin. I knew it would be safe there, but I wanted to try my luck at something else and someplace else and just see what else there was. And I'm really, really glad I did. But having a support system and people who still had like ties here, like my old professor, Kevin Obstats, he lived and worked here for a time. So he was also a big support system, and I was able to talk with him and came out for a visit with him, and we saw some different opportunities, and I realized it wasn't so scary and that it was doable for me. And so just having the opportunity to be brave enough to look around and try something else, that does change a lot. But it is, you have to be brave for these things, and it seems so small. People who are afraid of change, especially, like I'm a little, everyone's a little, and it just, you have to be brave enough to just try something, even something so small.
Yeah, no, I agree. How does your system work in terms of finding people that you build films with? Do you have a group that you build films with regularly, or is it kind of different every time?
So when I was in Wisconsin, it was a lot of the same people I still work with today. I'm working on films in Wisconsin right now. I'm with people who I've worked with for the last few years. Those are connections I hope will never go away. When I came out to Minnesota, I didn't have anything. I just had to start over. So I used my inspiration from Florence Anderson, who I talked about previously. They were go-getters. She was a go-getter. So I kind of tried to follow their steps a little bit. And I was on Facebook. I add myself in groups. I was looking everywhere. Following people on Instagram. I made my own special film Instagram, just trying to create a platform, create reliability. And I found people who were willing to get me on sets as a PA, as this and that. Anybody who just needed help. I wasn't paying, And honestly, I was able to meet a lot of people on Facebook, people that I still work with today, people whose art I still follow today. So I think even before I moved to Minnesota, I had some stuff lined up that I had found off of Facebook. I remember I was traveling the summer before I moved here. I think I had went to Dublin or something with some friends, and I remember being like, okay guys, I have to go to the lobby and take this call really quick for an interview for a position in the film when I get back to Minnesota. They're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I just have to talk to some stranger from the internet. And I did meet some really great people. Yeah, some of who I still work with today. So sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's the same people. I'm still meeting people. I just recently met another filmmaking friend, another woman in film who I'm working with this month, who I plan to work with in the future. People from Wisconsin that I still am working with. Gosh, yeah. I'm still making connections every day. And it's important to keep those connections because you never know how those can come up in the future. I'm still contacting people that I've worked with, I worked with 2 years ago for a set that I'm working on now, being like, hey, you want to come on now? And they're like, yeah, of course. Connections and keeping them are really important.
Absolutely. How do you find inspiration as an indie filmmaker? I feel like, art, even with writing, I'm also a writer. Mm-hmm. So I found recently that reading books has helped me become a better writer because it directly builds inspiration. Do you find similar experiences in building inspiration as film? Yeah.
So I do dabble in writing my own scripts sometimes. I haven't produced any of my own scripts at this point, but I've been trying to do one for the last year and a half. So
it's hard.
It's really hard. I get up really in my head about it.
Me too.
I'm like, oh, this needs to be this way and this needs to happen. It's a whole thing. But I do find inspiration from other movies. When I'm writing my script, I'll compare it to a different movie that I saw to kind of get the vibe of it. They teach you in screenwriting classes that when you're creating a script or you're trying to portray it for somebody else, to compare it to other works so that they kind of get the gist of what you're going for. And I think that's always stuck with me because I always find some inspiration for what I'm doing in other films. So I'll always have like a catalog of like a few movies that inspired this movie or this, but I mean, when I'm doing other people's scripts, I find inspiration not in other things, but in just the way that they talk about it. You can always kind of sense it in their tone of like how much this means to them and how passionate they are about it, which is really what encourages me to get the work done, because you can really just tell like how much it means to somebody. So that's where I get my inspiration for other people's films.
I think that's another thing that, like, especially if you're working on an unpaid opportunity, seeing those interactions and seeing how this comes out and how it makes other people feel definitely makes the job worth it, to me at least. I think it's really easy to get caught up with the fact that, oh, I'm making so much money, but like, you can be rich in other areas of life too. It doesn't have to be currency. Like, it makes people happy. You can be happy on the set. It's like, it really does make me sad how much money has taken over the world, especially like even in just the simpler interactions, like making someone a cake. It's like, you don't have to have a reason to go out of your way and do stuff nice for people. Like, it's become so regularized to do things for money only. Like, oh, I don't have money to pay you. You don't need to pay me for this. Like, it's good to just do nice things for people. And I think being on set and just seeing how everybody interacts with each other is payment enough,
I agree. I mean, that's why we do what we do, is because we like to make art and we like to see these things come to fruition, not because we like to get paid. If that was the case, we wouldn't have gotten involved in the field.
Yeah, no, there are definitely other more stable jobs. Like, I mean, like, even just growing up, people constantly hear that film isn't necessarily a reliable degree. Like, and I even considered doing something else, but like at the same time, like, you wonder, like, would you even be happy if you'd be doing something else? You can make money off of this if you want to, but at the same time, like, it doesn't have to be your whole identity. Like, there are different paths that you can take.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is that we chose this field. We know what we're getting into, and that's okay.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face as an assistant director on your indie projects?
Well, again, because everyone's not getting paid, is that we're working with limited time, limited resources. The scheduling is always tricky because people have actual jobs. They're working instead of a film that doesn't pay. So you kind of have to work around everyone's different schedules. That's actually not too bad. But not having a budget is also difficult for finding locations sometimes. Sometimes places will be very particular about you'll need to like spend this much or to be able to be in our location or
for a specific amount of time.
Exactly, right. And they'll have like specific limits and things that you can and can't do. So that does limit you as an artist. I mean, a lot of the times you get lucky and you do meet other people who do want to help you make this thing, which is really great. And then you get to meet those people, which is wonderful. But there's a lot of challenges that come with it, especially when you're on set filming. I think that's when a lot of the challenges come in. Kind of how we talked about, like, you really have to be patient because so many things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so many things. And that's kind of why I like being an assistant director, because everything kind of feels like a little puzzle that you have to put together. And it's a challenge, and that's what I like about it. So to say that there's things that are difficult about the job, that's why I do the job.
Do you feel like you're a good person that handles high pressure situations well? Do you think are you the kind of person that works better under stress than if you don't have stress? Because I feel like sometimes I'm that way, but also at the same time, I can get very overwhelmed very fast.
Right. If it's an environment that I want to be in, like, to make money, I work in cafes, I work in food service. Like, these are, like, they're not hard jobs, but it's like, it can get stressful. There's, like, there's peak times, like, there's rushes, and there's a lot of multitasking that you have to do. And I think that as much as I wouldn't like to work the jobs that I have to work, that it kind of does warm me up for when I'm on set, because it does feel very similar, where it is a high stress environment and you have to do these things. They're going to get done, and it's going to be fine in the end, but it is really high stress at the time that you're doing it. So I like to think that I work well under stress, because that's when my brain starts to lock in and really figures itself out and works through the puzzle. But it's also really nice to not have to be in those stressful environments. But it is when your brain is the sharpest, in my opinion. When it's kind of low stress, then that's kind of where like mistakes can happen and things can slip up because you're not really focused or paid attention. So I do think that there are benefits to having kind of a stressful situation like the 48 hours where you really got to lock in for that time period to get it done.
How do you find yourself balancing keeping things fun and collaborative versus being in those high pressure situations on set?
Well, that's the fun part about working with people that you like. Is that if things go bad, you can joke about it. You're all working together. You're not against each other. It does get really, really stressful. But that's when, sometimes when you're working with a group of people and like you're maybe all together for like a week, you go home to the same place and you complain about it for the next hour or two after you get home at night. You get to kind of decompress all of those things together. It feels less lonely. You feel more collaborative, like you're going through this trauma together. It does.
Trauma bonding.
Exactly. And I don't know, I like it. It's been something I've always liked. I did theater. We trauma bonded that way. You spend all this time together with people and really bad things can happen. Really stressful situations can happen, but you're doing it together and you're making something together because of it. And it does seem worth it. At least in my opinion, that's why I keep doing it, because I enjoy the experience of being with people who are going through the same things as you, and we can go through them together and we can complain and yap about it, and it's all going to be okay. If you're working with a crew that you don't particularly care for or don't like, then it's not as worth it. That makes it a lot harder.
Agree. It doesn't seem like it is as laboring either, like if you're working with your friends, and even though they're not like professional actors, it's fun.
It is.
Honestly, even like a cinematic approach, it does make things feel more authentic. Like I learned like in a class recently, like the importance of casting specific people because like, sure, if you want to have like a professional vibe to whatever you're creating, you can cast well-known actors or they do a brand deal, stuff like that. But like in terms of like making genuine casting, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like casting people who the audience isn't necessarily familiar with makes it feel more authentic in a way because it's like real people. I'm not saying that celebrities aren't real people, but like
they take you out of it just a little bit.
It's not as immersive if you see like Chris Hemsworth or something. Like, like
I see if somebody puts Chris Hemsworth a movie about working at a Starbucks, I'm not gonna believe you.
Yeah, I definitely use Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt too.
Oh my god,
there's so many Chris's in Marvel, I can't even get into it. But
don't get me started.
How do you decide when to prioritize your passion versus like your actual job? What does that balance look like for you?
So that's actually a really good point because I'm going through a lot of that right now. Throughout, at least in my experience in the Midwest, the winter is kind of the time where it tapers off.
Oh god, don't even get me started. Especially on like a college semester.
Yeah.
It's like
nobody wants to make a movie. We're all depressed, So it tapers off at that point. And that's, when I usually start to bulk up my money-making jobs, because I know that once it turns spring, I'll be getting all these jobs for the summertime. So the best way that I find is that, again, I bulk up all of my money-making jobs in the winter when it's kind of break time from the films, so that by the time that the films all come up, I can kind of limit my hours for the other money-making jobs that I have so that I'm not overextending my workload. Although I am guilty of that. I am doing that currently. But it is important to set boundaries with yourself. Otherwise, it is really easy to burn out. Again, I'm guilty of it. There's so much to do and so little time. But the only way that you can do it is by managing your time and setting those boundaries and knowing what is going to be good for you and working through like, I'll work for this long and then I'll limit my hours. I'll go to part-time and then I'll do all my film stuff. It's the only way that it's doable. And you have to be understanding when you're making the schedule for films too, is that other people have these jobs because the work that we're doing doesn't pay. We're all doing it for art. And that's where the patience has to come in, where we have to be understanding that we're all people just trying to survive and make art in this world that is not meant and made for making art.
Yeah.
it's hard, but we just gotta manage and figure out, what is worth our time.
Speaking of, how do you decide what projects are worth your time and what projects aren't worth your time?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll always say yes to a friend making a movie. I usually don't even care what the movie is. I love working with them, and it means more to me that I get to spend my time with them and then I get to help them make something that they're really, really happy and proud and passionate about. So I'll always do a movie for them, even if I'm in Minnesota and they're in Wisconsin. I'll always do that. For the ones that I've done in Minnesota here, I started off doing ones that, the opportunities that just came to me. They're also some of them were pretty interesting. I've done some queer-focused ones that meant a lot to me. I do still a lot of horror, which is still fun. I don't like watching horror, but it is a genre that I do enjoy participating in. And then I get to bring my friends on set from past works so that I get to work with them again. And kind of just whatever works with my schedule. I really love to pack my schedule full because there's only so many months of the year here that we get to make film, and I want to take the chance. Career. Yeah, maybe not in the right place, but I am here. I love it. Have you ever had to kind of cut ties with a production because it's not suitable for you, or maybe you didn't vibe with the way that things are running? Yes. I have had to do that. Keep it vague. There was a set that I worked on, and I was lucky with some friends, so that helped a lot. Because then we weren't going through it alone. But the set was not conducive to a positive and effective shoot. And then after that, there were some allegations about some of the crew that I had worked with. So it was not a set that I enjoyed being on. It wasn't a set that I would go back to. But I did my time. I made it work. And as soon as it was done, I was done. And that's okay. I did what I had to do. I think that there are some other people that I would take advice from where if you're not feeling safe in an environment, it is okay to walk away. I am one of those people that will stick through something because they made a promise to do it. But for other people, my advice to you is to recognize your boundaries and what you're comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable, or if you can't get out of it, at least have a friend with you and make it comfortable in a way that you can get through it. But hold yourself and your comfortability first. The production will get done. It'll be fine. But make sure that you and the people that you care about are safe. Yeah. It's these experiences, too, that help you realize how you want to make your own set. Yes. Too. The positive things that you can take out of it and what you absolutely do not want on your set. Absolutely. That's the good part about being a part of sets that you hated is that you at least realize what you won't do to somebody else. Yeah. Do you see yourself continuing to make movies on the side even if you do get a job in the field? I've always said this, that I don't know if I'll do this, if I'll continue this job as a career. I don't know if I'll make it big. I don't particularly care. I just want to always make art. I never want it to feel like a burden. I want it to be something that I love forever. If that means I had to take a step back, that's fine. If I can't do it as a career, that's fine. I never want art to be something that I lose interest in. Yeah, I think that can be something that's particularly hard too, especially when you're building a career, because when you do something for work, it can feel like a job. It can feel laborious. So it's it is always a risk, even just going to school for something that you love, because you can lose the love for that craft because you're working so much on it. And it's a touchy subject, and no, I definitely admire the way that you're taking things. But I'm also at the same time curious how you find balance between quote unquote making a living and also creating stuff for your passion. Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. That's still, a struggle that I'm having to this day. Is that I don't want to work in customer service forever, but it's the way that I'm making my money in order to make art. And I never want to lose that ability. It's hard to have a 5-year plan like we talked about, because you really never know what's going to happen or what's going to come up, and having jobs that are flexible is really important. I say that I would never be able to work a 9-to-5 office job because I wouldn't be able to if I wanted to make film. So these are just sacrifices that you have to have.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, when the sun sets.
Yeah.
You know, like, 9 to 5. If you want to get out for the sunset and have similar lighting, you'd have to do it, like, in specific times. And it's not always ideal with the 9 to 5 lifestyle.
It's not. You really do need that flexibility that only some jobs are able to give you. So if that's what it takes to keep doing what I love, then it's going to have to be. So we'll see how the life in the future goes, but I hope that I always get to do this.
Well, I think in terms of like being in Wisconsin, I think you have a really good schedule with like the winter and building your money in there, because yes, it is very true that like making movies in the winter is extremely hard. That's something that I have experience with, especially like being a film student in college in Wisconsin, because the nice weather is in the summer and school is out. So it's like you're not always building films during that time. And regardless of if you're in the spring or the fall semester, half of that semester, it's still winter.
Yep.
So it's either there's snow on the ground and obviously makes that difficult, or it's coming down from winter or building up to winter and it's absolutely unbearable outside. And for some reason, the majority of my stuff that I've built, I always forget that I'm in Wisconsin and I make an outdoor athletic film that always involves running somehow. So
that's torture.
Yeah, I was very lucky to have the cast I did for my short miniseries Outrunnable last spring, but we started filming in late February, early March, and we had to produce 4 episodes with like 12 minutes each between March and May. The last one was due May 5th, and the majority of the filming took place in like the early mornings of like this cold, brisk Wisconsin spring, outside on the track at 6 a.m. and it was absolutely freezing. That's another reason why I value working with the people I do, because if your friends are willing to go outside in like 30-degree weather, that's how you know they're devoted.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. It is not for the weak, like for sure. Like
it really is a passion.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I don't know if you've had similar experiences.
Yes, I definitely have. Shout out to my college peers who had to deal with a shoot that I did in my junior year. They made the actors. It was like a cold. I don't know what month it was.
I never know what day it is. So that's really
but it was a cold month, and I had them pretend like it was like a summer, and so they all had to wear like short sleeves, and it was freezing, and I felt awful. They were all troopers. Shout out to them. We don't give actors enough credit for the stupid work that we make them do.
Especially if it's unpaid.
It always is.
I really start to question whether I should just be sacrificing some money out of my own very tight budget. But it's like, even as college students, we're already in debt. We don't have the money to pay.
Well, exactly. Like we're trying to make art on this low negative budget, and we're just so thankful that people are willing to sacrifice their time and energy and comfortability to make those things.
Do you have experience building a budget, or is that usually someone else's job?
I've done a little bit of work with that. I like to try to stay away from that as much as possible. Usually that's more of a producer job, thankfully. But when I was in college, working as the general manager, I had to work with that with one of my peers. Luckily they were wonderful and they can do math and make a spreadsheet, so that was great. But it is really difficult to, especially if you really don't have a budget, to build that out of nowhere and figure out where that's going to go and who deserves what. Figuring out if you'll be able to pay your actors or your crew, these people that you really want to pay, but you really don't have the money. Either you make the movie or you don't, and you pay people. It's kind of one or the other, which is, it's a moral dilemma that we feel internally, as we know that these people deserve to get paid, but we really don't have the option. If we want to make the movie, we really have to do it with no or little pay, which is not how we would prefer to do it. But budgeting is really hard, especially for independent film.
Yeah. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, "it takes a village." So if, in terms of like your long-term village, what does that look like? The people that you've worked with the longest?
I love the people I work with. I I have a crew of people that I know that if I ever wanted to make a movie, I'll contact them first. I know that if I ask anyone to do anything, they'll be right there to do it. I know if I ask for help on my Instagram story, that somebody will perk up and say something and help me out. So just the way that I've gathered so many connections and helpful hands in real life and on the internet is so wonderful to see, knowing that there is a way to make these things happen. The people that I met in Wisconsin from my 48s, I still work with to this day. They're my little village. I make movies with them all the time, and I hope I can continue to do that. I will always ask them to be in my films or to help me out, or if they want me to be a part of their films, I'll be there in a second. I met people here that I know that I would love to bring on future stuff, but it is really, really a wonderful thing to have a group of people that you find so talented and so positive and energetic and willing to be a part of these things that you want to create.
Absolutely. What types of productions would you like to work on in the future, regardless of if it's horror or if it's work on? Is there anything that you've kind of been wanting to do?
Yes. Okay. I hope I do continue to do horror. As much as I say, like, if I sound like, oh, I do so much horror, I hate it. No, I love doing the horror. I do. I think it is so fun and creative, and you get to work with so many talented people, especially like makeup artists and things. They're so wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. They're wonderful, and this is something I always want to do. It's so creative, and it gives you so much opportunities for those things. As for my own projects, I've always said I would love to do coming of age or rom-com. I've been working on a script for that. I'm working on multiple scripts of those genres, but again, like we talked about, they're really hard genres to do correctly. So I have been taking a lot more time with those ones to make sure that it comes out right. Especially like some of them I do with political stances in mind, social stances, and I always want to make sure that I'm holding positive space for social change and making sure that I'm not making a fool of myself.
Yeah.
You know, these are really important subjects that I want to make sure come off correctly. So I do hope that I can partake in my favorite genres, rom-com and coming of age, because those are some of my favorite movies.
Have you ever watched any like fan films?
I watched fan films. Well, one of my really good friends, I'm waiting on the film to come back, but she participated in the Scooby-Doo fan film, which I'm really excited to see. My friend plays Velma in it, and she's perfect. I can't wait to see it. It's not done yet, but I'm really excited to see it.
No, I'm excited to see it.
As soon as I get it, I'll send it over. Shout out Kim Reese. She's one of my very talented set design artist friends. She's wonderful. I have her in everything I do. But she plays Velma, and I'm really excited to see it.
Are you a big reader?
I read on occasion.
You read A Court of Thorns and Roses?
Okay, I haven't read it, but I know all about it. My roommate's read it. She talks about it all the time. I've heard it's great and wonderful, and I need to read it.
I have recommended this in every single podcast. And it doesn't even have to be on topic.
No.
But speaking of fan films, I don't think you should watch it until after you've read the books. Also, text me when you've read the books, because I remember
we'll chat.
The last there's this these two creators. They're called Whimsy Gossip. They also have a podcast, but they mostly do fan films, and it's all about this universe. And they do it all by themselves, and it's so good. I highly recommend you watch it. Also, just to have someone to talk about it with, because
that's what art is for, baby. Experiencing it together.
It's so good. But yeah, I really enjoy watching their stuff, because I mean, A Court of Thorns and Roses is not what everybody thinks is sci-fi, but it is like fantasy and fiction, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you're working with elves and like fairies, and so there's a lot of costume work that goes into it. So that's
beautiful.
But like, they have such great quality sets, and I definitely recommend you watch it. But before I get off on a tangent on that, I've always wanted to work with stuff like that, especially with like things that you're already familiar with. And like, I used to make edits growing up, but like I've never like worked on like bringing something from like a book to screen, but that's also a touchy subject because an author even and a viewer can have a completely different perception of what a character looks like.
And it's so hard to bring something from page to screen, even just in script writing itself. I mean, that's already difficult, much less to bring it from a larger form book to a shorter script to a screen. There's so many different, it's too much. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to get right, but I do respect how it gets done. Like Project Hail Mary, I just saw recently, that was adapted from a book to a movie. I didn't read the book, not yet, but I thought that the movie was great. So I've heard that most people have said that have read the book, that it's a pretty decent adaptation. I really like the movie, so if you haven't seen it, I would recommend.
I will definitely look into it. I haven't seen it, of course.
I don't like movies about space, but this is a good one.
Have you seen Iron Lung?
I've heard great things.
Girl, I know you're a horror person, but you also said you don't like to watch horror movies.
I know.
This is body gore. Or not body gore, cosmic horror. I literally, genuinely, I think this is probably what it was trying to do, but I was sitting in the theater, genuinely feeling like I was too immersed.
I'm scared.
It was, I think it affects people differently, but kudos to Markiplier.
Yeah.
It was also self-funded. He and his friends did all that by himself.
I heard.
Leaving the theater when they turned lights on, I was sitting there for a little bit, shocked, trying to bring myself back to reality. It was just that immersive.
That's a sign of a great movie.
Yeah, it was designed to the point where it made you feel like you were going crazy. That's just...
I respect that. I very much respect that. I'll have to build up the courage one day.
Are there any specific people, even if it's just specific directors, teams, or anything, are there any specific people that you'd want to work with besides the people you already have?
People in Hollywood, per se?
Maybe.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. There are, so many people to look up to. Shall I say the Queen, Meryl Streep? Icon.
Absolutely.
I love her. She's 76, so I only have so much more time with her. Gotta get there before she's gone. I would love to work with my pal Matthew Lillard.
Oh, yes.
Genius. Underrated actor. Beautiful. So good. I think he's lovely. He looks like a sweetheart from everything I've seen. Robert Sean Leonard, who plays Neil Perry in Dead Poets Society. I met him last year, something like that. He was lovely. He was an angel. He's just a regular dad. And I guess that's kind of what I really enjoy, is that they're just people who like to make art, and they're just lovely people who are really good at it.
Something that people forget is that also celebrities are people. I know I just contradicted myself earlier. I think celebrities are real people.
Bring it back full circle.
yeah, exactly. They are real people, and you joke as growing up, I'm gonna meet this person, I'm just gonna be so chill and they're gonna fall in love with me.
I'm so scared. I know, they're beautiful. At least Robert Sean Leonard, when I met him, he was lovely. But some of them, I can imagine that they don't act like real people. It might be hard.
I'm sure fame does go to some people's heads. It's not an impossible thing that's gonna happen, and you do see it in some celebrities.
Right.
I have heard that some celebrities are the nicest people.
We're on the street. But if I was to work with anybody, I'd want them to be the kind of people who just really just want to be there to make art.
Yeah. Moving forward, what advice would you give someone who is trying to become an assistant director in indie projects? I know it's not something that's always taught how to do it. I mean, you mostly see in the industry how to find jobs in news production and other studio stuff. So what would you recommend to someone who is looking to start in indie?
If they want to work in indie, I always recommend starting off as a PA. You really just need to experience the set from that perspective. Just being willing to look on and help and get a hands-on experience. And then if you're looking to get into assistant directing, I would really recommend shadowing or second assistant directing, just so that you can kind of learn. And I started off doing a second assistant directing after PAing, and I thought that was a really nice step forward. I wasn't thrown into something that I wasn't comfortable with or that I didn't know anything about. And also just start in an environment that is willing to teach you and bring you along on a journey with them. Not one that expects perfection, but one that is willing to work with you. It's very easy to be hard on yourself and to expect perfection right away. But again, being in the right environment where it fosters learning, I think is one of the best steps. But as for getting jobs, I started off on Facebook I started off working with friends, just looking for opportunities that come up, getting practice in. I think that's some of the most important things. Also, just become familiar with time management and making a call sheet. Call sheets are still the bane of my existence, and I have to make them all the time. And so having a nice template and getting really comfortable and familiar with doing that process over and over again is one of the most important things.
Same with like outlines. Like I found one making this podcast, having outline templates ready. I remember like the whole process was like, it took me forever just to like create them. Yeah. That's like the longest part. Once you have that template process done, you save so much time.
Exactly. Once you get it, like it's hard to get it done the first time, but as soon as you do, like everything is so much smoother after that. You just really got to get comfortable with your own system.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite things about having a platform like this is the ability to shout out influential people. So I know we shout out a lot of people in this episode, but is there anyone else or even people that you just talked about that you want to thank for helping you to get to where you are?
Absolutely. Let me just go through it as if I was accepting my Oscar award. I would love to shout out all the people that I already have. Florence Anderson for getting me into film and taking a chance on me and being willing to help me grow. Bringing me onto the projects that they were working on. Daniel Pico for taking me onto those projects and helping me get to where I wanted to go, giving me the opportunity to learn, become an assistant director, work on bigger projects with you. Kevin Obstats for being my professor, for always being there to support me, bringing me onto projects of his. Carrie Elza from college for helping me learn how to screenwrite, and Kelly Wills for helping me have more media literacy, being willing to look into things and challenge things and kind of learn how to take the things that we've had in the past and put a different spin on them. And then just all of my film friends, Max Bezecki, Amelia Marie, a bunch of my other really wonderful filmmaking friends that I still work with, and Kim Reese, who all help support and create an environment where we can create art. They're such all lovely people, and I love being able to work with them and grow with them and create art with them. And because of them, it really is, it means so much to have such a wonderful group of people going through this process, especially through my college years and 20s, as we're all trying to grow and find our place in this world, that we have that support system and the crutch, that we can always come back to, always learn from, always learn with. So all of those people I would like to shout out. It's a lot of people, but they all deserve it.
It's the village.
Yes, it does. And there's so many more people a part of the village. So shout out to just everyone that I've ever worked with. Everyone in this village has really brought me to where I wanted to be.
And lastly, Aminee, where can our listeners follow your journey? Whether that be where to watch your films, how to follow it on your social media, etc.
Absolutely. They can follow me on my personal Instagram, Aminee. We can spell that out. I think it's AMINOMINEE. And my professional is Aminee the AD, AMINEETHEAD. That has my professional account linked to it in the bio as well.
And I will also link them in my Instagram.
Thank you. Perfect. It also has my website attached, which I am updating. I'm getting new headshots coming up, so don't look at them. They're ugly until I get new ones in. So follow along on my Instagram and website, and then I'll be posting all of my up-and-coming films on there. As well as Rori's Room. Watch the episode, listen to the episode, and watch my stories, please, with the social media takeover.
Absolutely. Is there anything, maybe like Iron Golem, that you're working on that is essentially in the works right now that you'd like to share?
Yes, absolutely. I just had I've had a slur of my 48-hour films come out on YouTube that I will be having in my website and posting on my Instagram, as well as Gone Golem, a sci-fi trailer that I worked on 2 years ago that finally came out. That's also on my Instagram and will be posted on my website. And then I'm currently working on a short film this month in April. By the time that this comes out in May, I'll be working on another feature film that I'll be posting about on the social media takeover and also on my Instagram.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for coming on. It was amazing having you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Rori.
Rori's Room is written and produced by myself, Rori Nicole, and you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. Theme songs and background music were produced by TJ Borkenhagen. You can follow Rori's Room on Instagram, @Rori's Room, and follow me at itsrory_x for updates on the show and a few more glimpses into life behind the mic. The goal of this show is to share my story and the stories of others in a way that makes people feel a little less alone. There will be a small break between this episode and the next one, but the wait is totally worth it. The next episode will be out June 7th, 2026, where we will be sitting down with performer, coach, and choreographer Patty Metters. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all next time in Rori's Room.